Hi and welcome back to Love English. Today I have got a super simple lesson for you. At least it should make a certain thing a lot more simple to learn. Phrasal verbs. Now, if the thought of learning phrasal verbs makes you want to pull your hair out, then this lesson might be just what you need. So, if you are interested in sounding more native and boosting your fluency, then this lesson is for you. Now, why is it so many of you find learning phrasal verbs so challenging? Well, number one, there are a lot of them. There are many phrasal verbs in English. And that's not the only problem. Many of these phrasal verbs have multiple meanings. For example, the phrasal verb pass out can mean to faint and also to distribute. She passed out the leaflets. She passed out the tests. Phrasal verbs are idiomatic, meaning the original verb like get or put or pass can have a very different meaning as a phrasal verb with a particle. So for example, get usually means to obtain. I got some milk. But the phrasal verb to get by means to survive and manage to get by on a very low salary. And if that's not all enough, there is also the issue of grammar. Some phrasal verbs take an object, they're transitive. Some phrasal verbs don't take an object, they're intransitive. And then you have the issue of phrasal verbs being separable or inseparable. It does get really confusing. So here are my top tips to help you learn phrasal verbs more effectively and much easier. Number one, it's really important to understand what a phrasal verb is and how we use them. A phrasal verb is colloquial, meaning it's more commonly spoken or in informal emails or letters or text messages. You wouldn't use a phrasal verb in an academic essay or a business letter. A phrasal verb consists of a verb, usually a very common verb like get, pass, put, take, have, with a particle or potentially two or even three particles. The particle is usually a preposition and sometimes with an adverb. So for example, to get on well with someone, we have there get, the verb, on, the preposition, and well, an adverb. This entire phrasal verb means to have a good relationship. So I get on really well with Sabrah. But there you can see that the verb has taken on a whole new meaning as part of the phrasal verb. Don't get too confused, it really isn't as hard as it seems. The best way you could practice phrasal verbs is of course with a native speaker, and even better, a native teacher. Now of course we are happy to read your sentences below using some of the phrasal verbs I've talked about and correct you. But if you really want to boost your fluency and build your vocabulary, then you might be interested in learning more about the sponsors of today's video, CAMBLY. CAMBLY is a great way to study and to improve your English and practice speaking with a native professional teacher. It's an app. So all you have to do is download it, go to the App Store, type in CAMBLY, and it is as simple as that. You can arrange classes with native teachers from Canada, America, of course the UK, and even Australia. CAMBLY is exclusively for English language learners, so there really is a massive focus on learning English. The prices are not only super competitive, but you can also choose the length of your lessons. So, if you only have 15 minutes a day to do a little bit of speaking practice in English after you've done some self-study, then you can do exactly that. Plus, CAMBLY's teachers are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it really can fit around your schedule and your lifestyle. CAMBLY also offers professional lessons looking at IELTS, TOEFL, CAE, and many other exam skills and practice. Now, if you're not sure whether CAMBLY is right for you, then why don't you take advantage of the free trial they are offering Love English viewers. When you download the app, you can get a free 15 minutes with CAMBLY using the code leila-sabrah. And then, if you decide CAMBLY is just the thing to help you improve your English, you can use the code leila-sabrah10 to get 10% off your course with CAMBLY. There really is no better deal than that. And please do let us know. Comment in the box below and let us know if you have studied with CAMBLY and how it has helped you improve your English. And if you are a parent that would like your child to improve their English, or if they need some help with their English homework after school, CAMBLY also offers this service. They even have an app for kids. When it comes to learning phrasal verbs, there's lots of different ways you can learn them. Learn them by verb. Choose to learn all the phrasal verbs you can with take, all the phrasal verbs you can with put. By learning phrasal verbs this way, you're grouping them. You're making them more digestible, easier to learn. And you're not learning random phrasal verbs that have no connection. It's also really useful to learn them in this way because, as I said earlier, there are many phrasal verbs with multiple meanings. So in my next lesson, I'm going to focus on phrasal verbs with multiple meanings. But for now, I'm going to give you a little bit of homework for the next lesson. I would like you to learn the phrasal verb with multiple meanings, take off. There are many meanings for the phrasal verb take off, and I would like you to do your research before the next lesson and see how many you can find. As I said, learning in this way means you are grouping them and you're actually learning them in a systematic, methodical way. In the same way, learn phrasal verbs by topic. So you could learn many phrasal verbs related to food and preparation of food. This is often a way that I will teach phrasal verbs to my students. It can be a lot more engaging, a lot more fun, and also it's something you already understand a lot about. So whether you're learning phrasal verbs connected to business or studying or sport, this will help you put them into a very clear context and understand how to use them better. I've already mentioned to learn phrasal verbs by topic, to learn phrasal verbs by verb, to understand what a phrasal verb is and the meaning behind it. But I didn't mention that you could also learn phrasal verbs by preposition. Now, by learning phrasal verbs by preposition, so focusing on phrasal verbs that all end in up, very often there's a common theme with these phrasal verbs. So for example, phrasal verbs with up, many of them, not all, often mean to finish, to complete. So for example, she tidied up means she cleaned everything, she organized everything completely. To give up means to completely quit, to stop doing something. To drink up means to finish your drink, and in the same way, to eat up means to complete everything, to finish what you are eating. So there you can see a common theme with the phrasal verbs with up at the end. A really effective way of learning them. You need to understand the grammar of phrasal verbs in order to use them correctly. It is not enough to understand their meaning alone. So for example, the phrasal verb pick up. It's separable and it's transitive, so you need an object. I picked up Sabrah. I picked Sabrah up. Both are possible. But if you change Sabrah to the pronoun her, I picked her up, but not I picked up her. It's important to understand that when a phrasal verb is separable and you use a pronoun, that pronoun needs to come in the middle and not at the end. So you cannot say, I picked up her. And of course, there are some phrasal verbs like come in that are intransitive, meaning they do not need an object. You do not need to say, come in you. Actually, that sounds very rude. Come in meaning to enter. If you want to learn more about the grammar of phrasal verbs, I've got a bit of a retro, vintage lesson for you. I'll put a link here and I'll put one in the description box and at the end of the video. Now finally, I have said this before, and of course, this is how CAMBLY can definitely help you. To personalize the phrasal verbs. Write sentences and speak using the phrasal verbs and connect them to your life, to the people that you know. So for example, I'm always telling my daughter to clear up her bedroom. Personalizing the language means that you are making connections with knowledge that is already in here. It means that those new words have something to connect with in your brain. So Personalising the language is a very, very important way and an effective way to learn phrasal verbs. So there we have it, phrasal verbs. Super simple, short lesson, and hopefully those 6 tips are really going to help you boost your fluency and build on your vocabulary range. Don't forget to comment below. See how many phrasal verbs you know with take off. Do your research, practice learning them, and check out my next lesson all about phrasal verbs with multiple meanings. And don't forget to download your CAMBLY app and use the code leila-sabrah for your 15-minute free trial. Thanks for watching. Bye.